Welcome to Birmingham.
When Birmingham hosted the Commonwealth Games in 2022, the then leader of Birmingham City Council said it was the start of a golden decade for the city. Just a year later, amidst an equal pay settlement costing hundreds of millions of pounds and a botched IT system installation that cost £100 million, the council served a 114 notice, declaring itself bankrupt. Since then, the city has been forced to make £300 million worth of cuts. Funding for youth services has been halved, bins are being collected every 2 weeks, and streetlights are being dimmed. And some of the city's most vulnerable are facing the sharp end.
Mum.
Oh, what's this one? We don't even know this one. Do I know this one? Have you found? Oh, but we do like that dancer. He's quite fantastic. You like his dancing, don't you?
Next one.
You're a DJ, Harry.
Meet Harry. He's 17 and loves dancing, Bollywood, and going to school.
What do you think about school? Do you like school?
Good idea. Oh no. My babe, Sarah.
Your babe.
Apparently he has a babe called Sarah at school.
For years, Harry has travelled to school with other kids with special needs, in a taxi paid for by the council. But, thanks to cuts, that could all come to an end. Because Harry is older than 16, the council isn't obliged to fund a taxi for him anymore. Their alternative? A disabled person's bus pass.
So Harry is under Birmingham City Council for his transport to school, and they've recently changed their transport policy. So at the age of 16, if you require support getting to school, you have to apply to the local council and ask them for some help. We've been told that Harry will be getting a bus pass in September, but because of Harry's significant learning disabilities, it's not appropriate for him at all. Harry can't cross the road safely. He can't tell the time. He can't read a bus timetable. He has limited cognition. He's a very vulnerable young person, so just to assume that he can get a bus by himself is quite ludicrous and will endanger him, basically. Harry loves school. You know, school, at the moment he's in the 6th form and he's doing a land studies course, which he absolutely loves. And he came home the other day with a huge bag of potatoes that he'd grown at school and took great pride in explaining, you know, I've planted these and we're going to eat them. But it's friendship, it's learning a little bit of independence, it's that sense of belonging. That's really important for him. And because he attends a school that's so far away from home, he doesn't have a lot of friends where we live locally. All his friends are based near his school. So if school was taken away from him, then he loses all of that support network, his friendships. So it's a really, really important place for him. He absolutely loves it. The alternatives are either I quit my job, so I work freelance, I work from home, so I would have to give that up, which I think is really unfair for me. But Harry wants to stay in school, so we either then find money to pay for a private taxi, and the quotes that I've currently received are looking at about £8,000 for the academic year.
Wow.
And that's a lot of money. You know, families of disabled children don't really have huge income, and I don't know where I'm going to find that money from.
Across the city, Robert lives with his sister Jean, who cares for him 24 hours a day.
I'm very protective of him, obviously, I know, because he's disabled, so I'm very protective of him, my brother. I'm more protective of him than my children, to be honest, because they can look after themselves, he can't.
The only respite that Jean gets is when Robert goes to Harborne Day Centre, which he's attended for 43 years. Harborne is one of 4 being considered for closure by the council.
What is it
you get out of the day centre? As in, you must need some respite.
Well,
for being
it's
a
5
carer.
hours basically, and that's the only 5 hours I get. It just gives me a chance to wind down, go shopping, do my garden, or do whatever I want to do. I have no help at all coming in. So Robert's Day Centre, which only costs £19,200 for Robert to go to the day centre. I contribute £3,000 towards that, so it's you're talking about £16,000. I've heard it from the gentleman that came from the council, well, from Health and Social, to talk to us. I said some care packages are 200,000. I've just done one for £400,000. So care packages are between 200 and 400,000. They are looking at all the care packages again. So when you put £16,000 for a day centre, it's peanuts, absolute peanuts. It's a 24-hour job. I mean, I get Robert up every morning, wash him, dress him, shower him, feed him. I have to do all his care, completely all his care. It's just non-stop. It's 7 days a week. You don't even have time to be ill yourself.
What does Robert get out of going to the day centre?
He gets out the house basically. They do lovely activities at the day centre. In the summer they take him out for meals, they take him out for walks, they go bowling, and then in the winter they stay indoors but do a lot of activities indoors. I mean, they've got all their friends there. He's been going for 43 years. And a lot of the staff have been there that length of time as well. We don't have a big influx of staff at Harborne. They like it and they stay. So all the staff know Robert inside out. You know, I mean, Robert's 62. I think there is somebody older than Robert at the day centre, but Robert's the longest one there. He's been there 43 years, so he's the longest one there. But as I say, 26.6 million on new bin lorries. Well, that kept his day centre open 26 years. They're not putting the priority where it should be. I mean, I know we need new bin lorries because they're all falling to pieces, but that's, you know, it's one of these, isn't it? Some people don't want fortnightly bins. Some people want to keep the libraries open. Obviously, my priority is to keep Robert's Day Centre open rather than a library because that's my lifeline and that's Robert's lifeline as well.
Isn't it? It's a shame that people in Birmingham are put into this situation that you're almost fighting each other.
We are, yes, we're all fighting for our own little cause.
How did the council end up in the situation where they're forced to make cuts to places like this?
Well, there are a number of reasons. One is that Birmingham, like many authorities, has lost a lot of money from the cuts from the previous government. I think the figure in Birmingham is about £1 billion loss. But there are some specific issues in Birmingham where poor management of the equal pay issue, poor political oversight in terms of the computer system, which has cost many hundreds of thousands of pounds to Birmingham council taxpayers. That's resulted in cuts. My concern is that those cuts shouldn't apply to the most vulnerable people in our city, and that's what we're talking about here.
Were you surprised when the council declared bankruptcy?
I was aware for some time that the city was in severe financial problems, and I don't necessarily think that the political leadership of the council addressed those problems in the speedy way that they should have done. So no, I wasn't surprised, but I am very concerned at what those effects are in terms of people's lives. We're talking in Birmingham about cuts that will destroy the social fabric of the city. For people who attend day centres, for youngsters and older people who attend libraries, who go to libraries, the youth service, all these things are under threat now.
I still love Birmingham. Birmingham's a fantastic city, but there's a sense of resentment and anger amongst the people that live here because we do love our city and we want it to be the best that it can, and we're just really worried that there are some areas of real deprivation in Birmingham, and I think they are going to suffer the most.